During this assignment, we're going to look at a simple example of how to set up a PA system. We'll take a look at the different components required to make up a PA system and how to configure these components ready to use for a live performance. This system is configured for a duo and is made up of two microphones, inputs for a guitar modelling system and backing tracks. There will also be a powered monitor connected. The main components of the system are the mixer, power amp and speakers. The mixer is where all the signals are collected via microphones or directly through leads. Here they are processed for volume, EQ and effects. The volumes are then mixed to give them the correct relative balance and sent to a power amplifier. This amplifier provides the power to enable the sound to be heard through the speakers. An important factor here is that the power output of the amplifier matches the power handling capability of the speakers. The speakers are the component which convert the signal sent from the power amplifier into sound. Different sound frequencies need different size speakers to project the sound correctly, which is why these speaker cabinets have two different size speakers, a small high frequency speaker and a larger speaker for the low and mid frequencies. They also have what's known as a crossover built in. The crossover splits the frequencies and directs the signals to the correct speakers. Let's start by connecting the speakers. Here we are using a common system known as a speak-on connector. These speakers should then be placed in front of the microphones to avoid feedback and spaced apart to get good coverage for the room you'll be using. Speaker height placement is also important and will be affected by whether your audience is sitting or standing. Speakers should be positioned so the horn sending out the high frequencies isn't obstructed by anyone, and these frequencies won't travel as far as the lower frequencies. The speaker leads are now connected to the outputs of the power amp, also using the speak-on connection system. We also connect the left and right outputs of the desk to the inputs of the power amp. The mixer used is a digital desk and is controlled using an iPad, which can be removed from the main body of the mixer and lets you control the desk remotely. The desk has 16 channel inputs and 6 auxiliary outputs, which can be used for sending signals to monitors or to external effects units. All the equipment is now connected, with 2 vocal microphones, a guitar connected in stereo, and backing tracks stored on the iPad, which has its own dedicated channels in the desk. It's important to use balanced signal leads where possible. These leads use cable with 2 cores and a screen and send the same signal along both cores at opposite polarities. This enables the mixer to cancel out any electrical noise picked up by the cable, getting rid of any unwanted hums or buzzes. Selecting the correct microphone is also essential in terms of frequency response, polar pattern, which means its directionality, and physical sturdiness. There is also a powered monitor connected to an auxiliary output. The monitor is used to enable you to hear what you're singing or playing, but with separate control over the volume and effects levels, so you can set them to your own preference. This monitor has a built-in amplifier, so only needs a signal from the desk. The guitar modelling system has a stereo output, so it's connected to two of the desk channel inputs. These two channels can be internally linked in the desk using the iPad to give stereo control over the guitar. Before we can use the PA, we need to set the system up as we intend to use it in order to ring out the PA. We now need to set the input gains on each channel. By singing into the microphone, we can use the gain control to set the maximum input level without the level clipping. This is repeated on all channels used. Now we need to raise the volume of the lead vocal microphone, inducing feedback. Once we start to hear feedback, we use the graphic equalizer to cut the gain on the frequency band where the frequency occurs. We repeat this process until either there's no more feedback or until we hear numerous frequencies at once, in which case we have reached the maximum headroom achievable by the system. We then lower the microphone volume to an appropriate level. Once the PA is tuned to the room, we can use the mixer to tailor the sounds of the vocals and instruments to our own preference. We can set the relative volumes, add reverb to help blend the vocals into the mix, use gates to turn the vocal mics off when not being used and help stabilize the mix. We can also compress the vocals if needed. We can alter the tone of the vocals and instruments to our own taste. The monitor will need to be rung out using the same procedure as the main PA. You can then alter the mix to suit your own preference. With the PA now set up, it should now sound as you would like it. However, you will need to be vigilant as changes during the performance, such as playing or singing louder, and the number of people varying in the audience. These could all have an effect on your overall sound. Once your system is set up initially, you should be able to fine-tune for the rest of the performance.